Okay, well, I wasn't going to bother because it's pretty basic, but here's the installation part of this element. It's got, you know, a couple of studs there, and it's got a little tab there with a hole in it. It's pretty basic. Alright, just sits in there like that. Now, the fan motor. I recommend you pull the fan out, the forced fan out. Whether your stove is, you know, 12 months old or 12 years old, it's going to need lubricating. They're only bronze bushes. Around the bronze bushes are felt pads. Now, what I recommend to getting oil into the bushes, because you can't pull some of these fan motors apart. They're meant to be a replaceable unit. Get your bottle of oil, and this is no more than a cotton bud that I cut the two ends off and shoved in the top of the oil bottle. Now, I think they call them Q-tips in America, whatever, but they're hollow. They fit in, you know, the end of the oil bottle, and that'll make life a lot easier. And all I do is, because I buy the same bottle of oil, I've got the top off another one, and I just sit it on top like that to keep the crap out of it. So that's just my little tip. Okay, it's not rocket science, but I'm going to go over it just in case you really don't know what you're doing and you're bent on replacing it yourself. Now, obviously, this foil conducts electricity, so if this shit's hanging off and touching around these two terminals, I suggest you just rip the foil off and piss it off out of the way, because that's obviously going to cause a very bad day. So, now the nuts. They're brass. This one looks like the dogs had it, because the electrician that worked on this decided to use a pair of pliers to undo the nuts and do them back up again. Now, the correct thing to use is a socket. Do not use pliers. And if you do, just keep it to yourself. I don't want to know about it. This is all you need. They're inexpensive, quarter drive. So, thread it on by hand to start with. Remember that white stuff's fiberglass, so if you get it all over your hands, it's going to make you so fucking itchy. So, go wash your hands off after you've finished it, and don't rub your eyes, because you're going to end up itchy as hell. So, put this camera down for a sec. Now you'll just have to live with the picture being sideways, stiff shit. Sorry. It's not rocket science. Not hard, but you don't need to wring the crap out of it. The element's not going to run away. You just want to hold the damn thing in there securely. Don't bend these terminals. Do not bend those terminals. Like, don't flex them around, because you might damage the element. You should check the resistance of the element with a voltmeter, with a multimeter, multi-voltmeter, whatever you want to call it, before you go powering it up. I've already checked this one. Now, the wiring's not rocket science. Why they've done it that way is, oh, there we go. Now, piss the wiring off out of the way. The first one I'm going to hook up is this earth. That earth is extremely important. Make sure you hook the earth up. Make sure the earth's, you know, locked in there, because these spade terminals have a little, you can't really see it, but they have a little, you know, little dog rocket that sticks out and engages with the hole in these male spade terminal and other halves. Right, now, two wires. Should be a second wire somewhere. There it is. Took off. Right. The blue wire, I don't know what the polarity is, but elements don't really have a polarity, so I wouldn't worry too much. So again, make sure it's secure, make sure it can't fall off, make sure it's got a secure connection. Like, the ends of these wires look a bit dodgy, but they're okay. It's just where the high temp insulation's frayed off, but it's secure. See, in there it's secure. Make sure they're secure. If they're not, then I suggest you crimp new lugs on it, or consult a qualified electrical contractor. So that's pretty well all there is to it. I'm just going to piss that off out of the way, so there's no possibility whatsoever of any conductive material coming into contact with these terminals. So that's pretty much all there is to it. It's just a reversal of the procedure. Now, if you break off the tab from the earth, then I suggest you either obtain another element, or if the element's brand new, then I suggest you crimp on a ring terminal or something, or you can get like male spade terminals with, you know, like a hole in it, you know, for fixing just things like that. and clean off the vitreous enamel around that, you know, lug. So you've got to earth that element, because if it blows, and goes short to the case of the element, that is inside the element itself, you've got to have the earth there so that it shorts the leak to ground, so it'll take out the RCD or the breaker. Now it needs to be fitted with an RCD, because this has got a power point. If it's hardwired in, there's no RCD, so you still got to earth it. You got to make sure that's plugged in. Well, I guess, as we used to say with TV, a camera trick later, and the stove's installed. It's got its original 15 amp power point. And I had to chop a friggin' hole in the wall, because I had to run a spade bit through the stud that's just there, because I wanted to give it greater than 150mm clearance between the stove to the power point. And I think if I get out the tape measure, assuming the stove is in its exact spot, because, you know, I didn't have the string line and the plumb bob, so I can't be sure it's dead right, but we have 185mm clearance between the stove and the power point, which is plenty, and it's got clearance between the bench, and it's not too close to the floor. Doesn't look stupid where it is. Good. Righto, the story with the element is it's working perfectly now. It's got one of those Cool Touch doors, which is really, if you don't have a Cool Touch door and you've got kids, go throw your dirty old stove out and get one that does, because just about every new stove comes with Cool Touch, and you know, it's just sort of come back in to heat it back up, but it's on 150 at the moment. So, and the thermometer's basically, I don't know how accurate the oven thermometer is in there, but you know, it's just under 150. It's probably not dead accurate, but it's probably not that far away either. So if I open the door, the fan's running quieter and it sounds like it's going faster, and you can see the element glowing in there. And let me tell you, I reckon it's a damn good stove. It was making a very, very annoying kind of screeching noise every now and again. It's like you get a loose panel that's kind of moving around, you know, like a and obviously the fan was in need of being lubricated, so it's dead quiet now. It's, you know, it's not making any noise whatsoever. So yeah, it's a humdinger, this thing. It's not got no gas hooked up to it. I mean, you got your piezo. Yep, so yeah, there we go.